What's up? Highlight Hendo here with CurbDogg Sports. What's going on, Raider Nation? We're just going over a bit of the few free agent signings that we got so far. A few new guys, a few returning guys. We're just going to start now with Amir Abdullah. Good elusive back for Jacobs, catching more balls in the backfield there. I don't know, what do you think about him being a punt returner, kick returner, and just bringing him back?
I mean, he's got the speed for it. He's a real fast guy. We didn't get to see him too much last year. Actually, when we first signed him, I was a little disappointed we got rid of Kenyon Drake for Abdullah, but Abdullah's solid. He's really fast, and yeah, like Seth said, he's a good receiving back out the backfield. We definitely need that.
Good for a one-year deal, prove-it deal, see if he can get that touchdown on a punt return. See Natane Moody, guard. I know from the Denver Broncos, good solid depth. Like I think you were saying yesterday, a lot of people were kind of upset from the Broncos fan base that they let him go. But another one-year deal.
He was one of the better offensive linemen, I guess, coming from the Broncos. I don't know how true that is, but that's what it seemed like from the Broncos fans' reaction to them releasing him. We need O-line depth. It's been a problem since maybe even before John Gruden. Our O-linemen are constantly getting hurt. If it's not Denzel Good, it's Trent Brown. If it's not Trent Brown, it's Richie Incognito for like a whole season. So we just need bodies in there.
Yeah, speaking of another guy that got hurt, Brandon Parker, he was injured and didn't play at all pretty much last season.
Yeah.
And I mean, they signed him another one-year deal. I feel like this is again another prove-it type thing, just to kind of see like, all right, well, you didn't get to play last year, so let's just see what you can do this year.
Well, I think even like I said, it's just bodies, it's familiarity in the system. Maybe they're just giving him a cheap second shot just to see where he's at after that injury last year. I mean, he's been on the team for a while, so it's not fully crazy that they bring him back in my mind.
If they wanted him, even if it's a one-year deal, Carmen Brasilla must see something in him.
Right. Well, and he's just at the very least, he's just going to bring competition. You know what I mean?
Yeah, at least, yeah, that's for sure. Especially with some competition in the tight end room. Jesper Horsted, another one-year deal. Wide receiver turned tight end. I see 3 catches for 19 yards in 2022. So maybe he could be a star. You know, he hasn't really got the playing time. So I think this regime's really trying to take a bunch of nobodies and make them somebodies.
Yeah, I mean, with having Jimmy G as our quarterback, you would think that tight end position is going to be utilized a lot. So I'm sure at some point in the season, they're going to call on his name. We'll see if he can answer or not. But even if we don't, even if he can't, at least he's a special teamer and we got 2 veterans ahead of him. And we haven't even had the draft yet. So I'm not too worried about the tight end position.
I'm pretty confident in the draft. You know, George Kittle's a 4th or 5th round tight end.
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, you know, there's hope.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to be a first-round guy.
Right, you don't need Tony Gonzalez, you know what I mean? You just need somebody who can block and catch.
And you need him to block for Jimmy Garoppolo, our next free agent signing here. 3-year, $67.5 million deal, but there is a 1-year out, just like DC's deal last year.
Yeah, so that's true.
If they draft QB, like there's a lot of talk with Anthony Richardson and Will Levis right now. If they draft somebody and shape them up in a year, you can get rid of Jimmy's contract and then next year have $50 million of cap space. Cap space. So
yeah, I mean, Jimmy G, he's played with McDaniels. I know it's been years, it's been a couple seasons at this point, but again, I think with this new regime, they're bringing in like a lot of familiarity, just like they kind of did last season, and they're trying to not break the bank to do that. So I mean, yeah, Jimmy G, he's a little inconsistent. He's a decent quarterback when he's healthy, but that's the thing, he's not healthy all the time. The old saying goes, the best ability is availability. So
hopefully he's trying to put the rumors to bed and get rid of that injury stigma and kind of stick up and be a Raider and be the tough guy that he's supposed to be.
Yeah, maybe Shanahan putting him on the back burner for the last 2 seasons will light a fire under him to, you know, play great and prove everybody's wrong over there. So we'll see. I know
you're talking about players like Abrams having a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
You know, for especially when they're, you know, hopping around on, you know, 4 teams within a season trying to get somewhere to, you know, prove that they're that first-round pick.
Yeah.
But I think another guy that's got something to prove, Marcus Epps, strong safety from the Eagles. This one is like the first deal that we're discussing here that isn't a 1-year deal, and this is a 2-year, $12 million deal. I think some people are kind of overhyping this in terms of like, you're paying too much for him. But I think you want to show him that like you care and that you're interested in him.
Right.
Dave Ziegler said he wants players to be with the Raiders for more than just 1 year. He wants them to be. It's like really trying to build a culture. And so I think, you know, if you get somebody who's on a winning team like this, and you pay him and you show him that he's actually worth something, I think that'll kind of light a fire in the cornerback room and on the defense to kind of get people to shape up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, Epps is a solid tackler. He's not perfect, no one in the NFL is, but he actually, like the guy we watch on YouTube a lot, shout out Raider Film.
Yeah, Raider Film.
He keeps the play from getting worse, even if he did slip up at first. He chases the carrier down and tackles him, and I mean, yeah, just because I mean, I've heard a lot of people complain that he's not super great in coverage. Just because he hasn't been good in coverage on other teams doesn't mean he can't learn to be good in coverage with us. So
right, and especially if he's playing a different role. I mean, shifting in between Hobbs, Merrick, Faison, there's a lot of help out there on the field for him. So
yeah,
with him playing a different role, he's not doing the same. This isn't the Eagles, so he's not doing the exact same thing. Patrick Graham's got a lot of different things up his sleeve, and he's not your conventional defensive-minded coach. So he's probably got something up his sleeve for Epps.
Yeah, Epps is a good player to put in this box safety, I'd say.
And I think we brought somebody back like Brandon Faison, to kind of learn under somebody like Epps who's had success.
Yeah,
it's like not to say that Faison isn't a good player, but last season his PFF coverage grade of 56, and he allowed a passer rating of 101.5,
which is like almost perfect, 3% away from being perfect. I want to say
that one's not really lighting up any boards with that.
But again, it's the familiarity thing. He was on the team with Gruden like 2 seasons ago in the Bisaccia season. At the least, he's a special teamer and a depth piece. I mean, you don't want to see him start. I won't lie. I think he was a starter for the Colts last year. And, I mean, it's April. He might not even make the team. They're just trying to bring in familiarity and somewhat of a competition.
Yeah, definitely filling holes with people that they know. So that's at least a place to start for training camp and getting people who aren't familiar with the program, and so that way everybody's familiar with the program at the end of camp, and you can pick and choose who you want to have.
Yep.
Jacoby Myers, wide receiver, he's probably going to stay. He'll probably be a starter for sure.
Yeah, I think so.
3-year, $33 million deal, $7 million cap hit in 2023. So it's a nice, it seems like he took a little team-friendly adjustment towards the beginning. Just kind of like, oh yeah, I see you guys were rebuilding.
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's what JT Condor season on Twitter. He's got it Renfro plus Myers equals Amendola plus Edelman, and I'm messing with that pretty tough. So if we got another New England quarterback in Jimmy G, and we can get some New England type numbers, and let's get a Super Bowl going. It's like definitely dreaming. Yeah, definitely dreaming for sure. But
Jacoby Myers is a interesting one in a good way. Interesting in a good way. I mean, I think he's an undrafted free agent, I want to say.
So I know he's young. He's young.
Yeah, he's like 25, but he was like an undrafted free agent coming into the league. So he's going to play with a chip on his shoulder, like we were talking about earlier. He is a slot receiver, I want to say. So a lot of people are worried about, well, does that mean Renfro's on his way out? And I say not necessarily. We don't know what these guys are going to do. Even if they do, if they get rid of Renfro, they get rid of him. At least we know we have another serviceable slot receiver in his position. So I like the signing. Again, it's a familiarity.
Especially speaking of familiarity, Jakob Johnson.
Yep.
Another 1-year deal. Definitely need that guy to be blocking for Jacobs. He creates the holes. He's the disruptor on the O-line, I want to say for sure. Just kind of making big plays. Yeah,
the guy's a pure fullback. I actually think he makes our O-line better with his blocks. He can take defensive tackles or linebackers one-on-one. The dude's huge. And it can allow the O-line to shift to other guys. That's how effective he is. He's not Alec Ingold. He's not making crazy catches out the backfield, but we don't need him to do that. We got plenty of weapons to do that. So I love the Jakob Johnson. I think he's from Germany or something too. It's just, he's cool. I really like him.
Yeah, and then Robert Spillane. I don't know how confident the Raiders are going to actually let him be the Mike on the defensive side of the ball, but I think at least watching his tape, and again, shout out to Raider Films for his all-22 coverage of the players that we signed, but definitely a run stopper for sure. He hits hard. He's a good read. on the run game. Definitely has some work to do in the coverage, but if we can,
Right.
have that complementary football of a good secondary,
Yeah.
and then he won't have to do that as much.
Right.
He can kind of stick to his assignment.
Right.
And maybe maybe he can get to the quarterback, since he's so good at reading the line.
Yeah, I mean, just because, like, it's the same thing with Epps, just because he hasn't had tons of success in coverage on other teams and other defensive schemes, that he won't have success here. Yeah, watching his highlights, the dude's a vicious tackler. I mean, that's something we didn't even have last year. We didn't even have sure tacklers. Guys are escaping left and right, breaking away from our tackles. So at least he's going to put the running back or whoever he comes into contact with on the ground. So
yeah,
we'll see. I was a little worried about that signing at first, but actually watching some tape on him, the dude's a solid tackler. And that can force turnovers. That can do a ton of stuff. It can even bring in the mental thing of, receiver coming in the middle of the field. Yeah, Spillane might not break up the pass, but the receiver knows that Spillane's behind him and could, get a free shot on his kidneys or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Mental thing comes in. You never know.
You're about to get a big hit from a big linebacker.
Right. He might drop the ball. You know what I mean?
Right.
That's the old school Raiders style.
Someone who's a little bit more used to kind of catching some balls and taking some hits, Philip Dorsett, definitely a proven veteran.
Yeah.
Really, really fast. I think he had like a 4.4 40 or 4.43 40, something like that.
Yep.
And I don't think how much he'll be like on the roster in terms of a receiver, but I think definitely in terms of punt return, kick return, kind of back there with Amir Abdullah.
Yeah, I mean, even coming in every once in a while to give some dude some reps, I should say. And
I see him coming in like beginning of the second. Second quarter, or probably somewhere top, beginning of the fourth. Definitely just like to give guys a little break.
You could be playing like a Keelan Cole role last year. You didn't see him a ton, but that doesn't mean he's not effective when he's on the field.
Right.
Keelan Cole put us back in that Patriots game, so
that's true. That's true. And then we got Roderick Teamer over here. Definitely more of a special teamer.
Yeah.
I didn't really like a whole lot of the footage I saw from him this season.
Yeah.
Just especially even going back and watching it, there was a lot of stuff that I felt like he could have improved on. But I think the overall thing with him is that he is growing as a player. He's not. I don't think he's like getting worse.
Yeah.
And they asked him to do a lot. He definitely had a lot of roles to fill last season. So, I mean, I think bringing him back and letting him just kind of get a taste of the field while playing special teams will be good.
Yeah.
I don't know the contract length, but hopefully it's more of just kind of like that 1 year deal type of deal, prove it deal.
Yeah. I mean, Teamer's not somebody you want to see out there every down, but I mean, he plays with heart. I don't know. He's definitely not the best, but again, it's a familiarity signing. They must like something he's doing if they're bringing him back. So I'm going to trust it.
And then Jerry Tillery, that's a 2 year, $7 million deal. Pretty good signing. Definitely got to build that defensive tackle room.
Yeah.
I think in terms of depth, like he puts up solid numbers. I think he cares about the team. I think he really shows and really wants to win. And
we got him for cheap too. We got him for dirt cheap.
Yeah, I mean he puts in a lot of effort. So I think that's the biggest thing is we just need people to get out here and show up.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And he's definitely going to show up against the Chargers every week.
Right.
But we definitely need some help in the middle of that line. We can't expect Chandler and Max to do all the work from the edges and not, the guys in the middle not get any pressure. So he does get a little emotional sometimes. What was it?
It was that Rams game. It was a fourth down penalty and gave the Rams another first down, let them drive down the field. So
yeah, but you want passionate dudes on the team. So
yeah, I mean, it just shows that he cares, but just got to think a little bit more.
Yeah.
Jermaine and Luminar, sometimes he's got to think a little bit more. Kind of posted too much on social media a little bit, but definitely improved as a player overall throughout the 2022 season. I think bringing him back, Carmen Priscilla really likes working with them.
Yeah.
And I think, again, Carmen's just trying to keep that team as cohesive as possible. You can't build solidarity in an O-line if you keep swatching guys out,
that's
every
definitely
month.
true.
It's like, he's a swing tackle and he's playing this and that every 2 downs.
Right.
It's like,
we've had so many tackles, and right tackles, especially in the last couple of years. We've had Trent Brown, Alex Leatherwood. Well, we had Illuminor last season, but it's good that, at least we got somebody there that's been there before,
Yeah, he knows what's being asked of him, so that's
not using a first round pick on a right tackle,
Yeah, ain't no Leatherwood.
Yeah.
See, David Long Jr., 25-year-old cornerback, played with Jalen Ramsey on the Rams.
Yep.
Definitely good for this cornerback room, especially like with Marcus Epps back there. there. Duke Shelley, he's coming up in the list here. There's definitely a lot of people. I think it's exciting, especially since we got still Meek Robertson on there.
Yeah, it's a decent signing. He's young, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure he's a Super Bowl champion. He might have not been their cornerback one, but at least he knows what a good competitive cornerback room looks like. So he's bringing some of that experience to our team, which we don't have, and we need dudes like him. After losing Rocky Sin and Anthony Averett and stuff, we just need guys that, they might not be playing all 4 downs. He's a good rotational piece.
Definitely on a winning team.
Yeah.
So it's like, David Long, winning team, Marcus Epps, winning team,
right.
Duke Shelley. I mean, the Vikings did really good last season.
That's
so it's
true.
Like, acquiring all these players off these teams and franchises that have cultures, that have winning cultures, I feel like is really important.
Right.
And then we got Austin Hooper, tight end from, he came from the Titans.
Yeah, I think he's played for a couple of different teams.
I mean, in terms of like the tight end room, there's definitely like some, like we got Horsted and Fotheringham, those kind of rookies, like the guys that you're not so sure about.
Yeah.
And then you got OJ Howard and Austin Hooper. So Austin Hooper is kind of more of the guy that you put a little bit more faith in, I'd say. And I think OJ Howard's like the teacher of the group, kind of more like teacher plus depth. You definitely don't want him out there every down. He's not your third down tight end.
Right.
But definitely, probably have him out there on second down if you really needed to give somebody a break.
Or 2 tight end sets, Austin Hooper and OJ Howard. Austin Hooper's been around forever, it feels like. I like the signing. I don't think we spent a ton of money on him, and we need tight ends after getting rid of Waller, but it's big that we can have Austin Hooper, OJ Howard, Fotheringham, and Horsted. The last 2 are on rookie contracts, I'm pretty sure, but all those guys are cheaper than Waller, you know what I mean?
Combined pretty much.
Yeah, so not too bad.
Then we got Jacob Bobenmeyer, long snapper from the Broncos. Not really like a big deal. I was kind of sad to see Trent Sieg use the job, like break up the trio type of deal. But otherwise, it's not really that big of a deal.
Yeah, I mean, we have the Broncos special teams coach now. So
yeah, Tim McMahon.
I mean, at least Trent Sieg got a shot with the new regime, and I mean, it didn't work out, whatever. He's already got a new job in Dallas, so you know what I mean? But yeah, it is sad to see the Carlson, AJ Cole, and Sieg trio get split up, but that's the NFL, not for long.
Yeah. See, Jordan Willis from the Niners kind of switched defensive tackles with the Niners there. Gave him
we do
Farrell.
that.
And we took Jordan Willis. I think we kind of won on the end of this, but I think that Cleveland Farrell will definitely shape up to be a good defensive tackle in the Niners system. So it's kind of a win-win.
Totally.
And so I'm not really like too upset about it at all. So
yeah,
I think OJ Howard, again, we were kind of just talking about him, more of like a solid depth piece, not really like the guy that you want out there every down or most of the downs or taking the majority of the snaps. But definitely somebody you want in the tight end room and teaching anybody that you draft and teaching your young rookies, your second year players.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a ring too, so at least he can bring, again, winning team experience. He knows what a winning team looks like. I know it doesn't sound like a huge deal when we say it, but I think when it's in the locker room, leadership roles and stuff like that,
it definitely matters.
Yeah, I think so.
And then Curtis Bolton, this one's kind of like not that big of a deal, mostly a special teamer. He's listed as a linebacker, but I don't think I've ever really seen him play more than preseason.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Him and this next guy, I'm not super familiar with. I don't.
Yeah, Fronis Grasu, center, practice squad center. It says here on JT's post. This whole list is off JT Condor season on Twitter. Shout out to him for getting this list nice and concise here with pictures and everything.
I mean, another camp body. It's early. It's April. So,
just more O-line depth, it can't hurt.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
as long as he can learn his role, then should be fine.
Yeah.
Keelan Cole, we also mentioned him a little bit earlier. Not really like the craziest signing, but he definitely added and contributed to his piece of winning throughout the 2021 and 2022 season for sure. So
yeah, I think his lone touchdown kind of put us back into that Patriots game.
Yeah. Definitely sparked a little fire under everybody's butt.
Yeah, I mean, he's not the wide receiver one, and again, he just brings competition into the pretty decent receiving room. It's looking like so far.
Yeah, it's getting pretty wide. Adding Cam Sims here, another guy that we saw the Washington fan base be pretty upset about, a guy losing this guy, and he was just depth over there. He wasn't even wide receiver 1, 2, or 3.
Right.
It's kind of interesting picking him up, and I think it was a pretty cheap signing again too. So again, that wide receiver room is stacked.
If he's I don't know if Matt Collins was a gunner, but he seemed to be the one making all those big special teams, pinning the ball down and like within like at least the 5 last year, a lot for AJ Cole. If he can come in and just do some of that and have somewhat of a receiving role that Hollins did. Hollins really, like, he stepped up a lot last year, so I don't know how much I can expect this dude to do the exact same thing. But, I mean, it's just, like I said, bringing bodies into a room we already got the best receiver in the league. We got the best route running slot receiver in the league, you know what I mean? So it's just, they're just stacking up pieces on offense, and they're not really paying them a ton of money, it doesn't seem like. So,
yeah,
why not?
Definitely being cost effective, easy on the wallet with,
Yep.
I mean, good players too, like Duke Shelley here.
Yeah.
We're just talking about him, another winner, young corner, a lot of upside. Seems like a guy that's, within this room, I feel like we're going to have a lot more pass breakups, interceptions. And with a lot of these guys, they're going to be like Marcus Epps, he'll be able to play light in the box and get to the cornerback. I feel like him, like let's say like Epps and Spillane are playing low in the box and they're able to get after the quarterback while you have like Faison and Duke Shelley out in the backfield just in case if something bad happens.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we got Duke Shelley, David Long, we got Tyler Hall. I think we still have a Meek and Nate Hobbs. That's not a bad room. I mean, if we can draft get some rookies in the draft, that maybe with the first round pick, get like a Christian Gonzalez or a
Devon Witherspoon.
Yeah, Devon Witherspoon. That could be a really competitive secondary room, I'd say.
Yeah. And then John Jenkins, nose tackle.
Yeah.
Definitely a Patrick Graham system guy. I think this is supposed to be like the Cleveland Farrell replacement.
Or like what we thought Andrew Billings was supposed to be last year.
Yeah, more or less.
Yeah. I mean, I think we need a pure nose tackle in that position. I don't know how often they do 3-4. I don't know the stats on it or anything offhand, but it's nice to be versatile and put an extra dude in the backfield, rush 3. You can still rush 4 and stuff like that, but
that's just about it for free agency signings so far. I feel like there's a lot more to be had, and I think we'll figure out more with stuff like Hunter Renfrow. Once we get through the draft, I think we'll have a better idea of like, okay, we didn't get another receiver, so let's keep Renfrow, or we got another receiver, so let's get rid of him and kind of free up some space.
I mean, at least now they're stacking up on depth. That way they can, if they have to trade for somebody in the draft or even in the draft, they can try and just draft starters since they already got depth taken care of.
Exactly.
But I mean, how much do you want to rely on rookies? You know what I mean?
Yeah, drafting a starter, that's tough. If you draft somebody and they happen to work out as a starter, that's one thing. But I think drafting and banking on somebody being a starter is a lot harder to do. And I don't think this regime is willing to do anything like that right now. There seems like they're playing it really safe.
Yeah.
And trying to just make sure that all the moves that they make are calculated, cohesive, and able to step out on the field on day one and actually supply a good product.
Yeah, totally. I mean, look what I know we were 6-11 last year, but we had one of the top receivers in the league. I don't know exactly where he was, but I think Adams was around top 5. We for sure had the top rusher in the league, and that's all without having Renfrow and Waller for most of the season. So let's see what the staff can do with their dudes. You know what I mean? Let's see what they can do with Jimmy. And let's see what Patrick Graham can do with some teachable guys, that I don't really know what happened last year with that defense, but maybe it could just be the guys he had didn't understand what he wanted. It could be something as simple as that. So I say let's give this coaching staff a real shot. Last year was a lot of the last regime guys and cleaning up the last regime's mistakes and stuff like that. So I'm excited to see what they can do.
Yeah, and that was a 6-11 record. People don't like it because it's not a winning record, but John Gruden came in and was 3-13.
Right.
And nobody really batted an eye about it. So I think for Josh McDaniels to get all the scrutiny and be coming in with twice a winning record on his first year, really actually kind of says something. And I don't think that's something that people are talking enough about or giving him enough credit for. It's just kind of because he's some offensive guru. He should have been, winning record right away. But who's to say that he won't be like Nick Sirianni, second-year head coach hitting the Super Bowl?
Right.
So I'm not saying that the Raiders are going to hit the Super Bowl, but no, never underestimate somebody if you don't really know, what they're about. And so far, it seems like he's been a lot better than John Gruden, just from a record standpoint in his first year.
Drafting standpoint, too. I mean,
definitely drafting standpoint.
We didn't even have first or second round picks last year, and we still came out with
Thayer Mumford.
Thayer Mumford in the 7th, Dylan Parham him in the third. I mean, we didn't really get to see Neil Farrell Jr. or Malcolm Butler or Britton Brown or
Zamir White.
yeah, we didn't get to see those dudes too much, but you know, let's see what they can do this year. And now we have 12 picks, so
yeah. And I think I don't know what's up with Jacobs. If I know he's not too happy about playing on the franchise tag, and he wants to get a long-term deal done. But Jacobs doesn't seem like the type of player that's gonna not play.
Yeah, I mean, dude, he's making on the.
He's still making $10 million.
Yeah, on the franchise tag, he's making a lot more than most dudes are. You know what I mean? Per year, he's making $10 million a year on the franchise tag. So I don't know. Let's see what they do. You know, I have trust in them. I love Jacobs. I wouldn't want to see him go by any means, but I have faith in the new staff. What can I? That's all we got because we know they're here to stay.
Yeah,
you know?
and business is business, and it seems like they know business, and they're kind of they somewhat know football. They're figuring it out. So
right, they're trying to make calculated moves. It's not Gruden where they pass the eye test and that's it. These guys are trying to like calculate every player they get, you know, stuff like that. They're not just cutting dudes for no reason. We were lucky to get the 3rd round pick for Waller, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, definitely.
He missed a lot of games the last 2 seasons. So.
And he's really it's a really questionable signing to take him and pay that much money and rely on him as your tight end 1. And he's that old, and he's not necessarily, I don't want to say he's not as focused on football, but compared to other tight ends, it's like he's no George Kittle. So
let's look at it this way too. I mean, how many players in New England are making rap songs? Not a lot. I mean, it's not that Waller can't be a rapper, but it's not a good look when you're injured. People are saying he wasn't at the facility and stuff like that. He was injured.
Yeah, there was the time during I think it was the bye week. He went down to Southern California and said, "Find me. You know, I'm not going to be there."
Yeah.
And I just feel like it's not somebody that the team really wanted to be with.
No,
and I feel like Jalen Carter's kind of one of those guys that they're going to have to evaluate in the same type of way. It's like, do you really want to be here?
Yeah, that's totally especially after the Henry Ruggs thing. I don't know. It's kind of scary if we were to get him. I don't know if they will though.
And like I know Ziegler and McDaniels are saying we weren't here for that, and it's like it's a completely different culture, but ultimately like it's really
they know
it's hard for the Raiders and it's really close to home. So I think they'll be really really weary of the culture factor. With Jalen Carter.
It's close to home for them too. McDaniels coach Aaron Hernandez. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
so
that's true.
They know what it feels like too. I'm sure they don't want to. Not saying Jalen Carter is a bad person. I mean, he's young. He made a mistake, but it's just something that as a fan base, I don't think we can go through again.
Yeah, it's just bad PR, and PR is PR affects football as much as people don't want to admit.
Right, totally. And it's different. If we get him with the 7th pick overall, that's one thing. But if we can get him in the 2nd or 3rd, that's total different.
Exactly.
Totally different thing.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
April 27th, we'll get the draft, and we'll probably be going live here and get a little bit of coverage going on with some of the picks that we'll be signing here. So stay tuned. Highlight Hendo, CurbDogg Sports. We're out here in the 916.
Go Raiders.
Yeah, just win, baby.